Imagine a simple farmer who refused to sell his vineyard and ended up facing a king and queen who would stop at nothing. That farmer was Naboth of Jezreel, and his no to King Ahab set in motion one of the darkest acts of injustice in Scripture. In Israel, land wasn't just property, it was inheritance from God, meant to stay in the family forever. So when Ahab offered money or a trade for Naboth's vineyard, Naboth replied, "The Lord forbid me that I should give you the inheritance of my fathers." It wasn't stubbornness, it was loyalty to God's law. Ahab sulked like a child, but his wife Jezebel seized the moment. She forged letters in the king's name, staged a false religious trial, and hired witnesses to accuse Naboth of blasphemy. The result? Naboth was stoned, and his blood stained the very soil he sought to protect. Ahab rushed to claim the vineyard. But heaven was watching. God sent Elijah straight to the crime scene. His words thundered, "Have you killed and also taken possession?" In the place where dogs licked Naboth's blood, dogs will lick your blood. And Jezebel, the dogs shall eat her by the wall of Jezreel. It was a prophecy of utter disgrace. Years later during battle, a random arrow pierced Ahab through his armor. He bled out in his chariot, and dogs licked his blood, fulfilling Elijah's prophecy to the letter. Jezebel's fate was even more gruesome. When Jehu rose as God's instrument of judgment, her own servants threw her from a window. Dogs devoured her body, leaving only her skull, hands, and feet, just as the Lord had spoken. And it didn't stop there. The entire house of Ahab was wiped out. What began with coveting one vineyard ended with the collapse of a dynasty. The lesson? God sees every injustice. Naboth seemed powerless against a king and queen, but his spilled blood became the trigger for divine justice. The vineyard he refused to sell became an eternal memorial that God defends the innocent and topples the proud. So let me ask you, when the world's powers seem unstoppable, do you trust that the God of Elijah still rules and that his justice always has the final word?